welcome to another Garry's Mod video. Now this video I'm going to be going over my top 10 add-ons for Garry's Mod. This could be anywhere from weapons to vehicles. Let's get started. Now coming in at number 10 is Max Cod Black sweps. Now these guns are very good quality, they're almost an exact replica of the game version. You can put attachments on them, and they actually have proper sound effects from the game, which I find extremely cool. I'm pretty sure this is almost every single weapon from Black Ops, if not every weapon. There's obviously a few zombie wonder weapons missing, but apart from that, I'm pretty sure it's almost every weapon from Black Ops 1. And these are very good for multiplayer, especially if you're having a gun battle or something like that, or just simply messing around. They do tons of damage, which is something they probably should change, is the amount of damage that this does, because they're very, very strong weapons. And this is without any attachments. If I had 10% more damage, and then spawn, say, an Iron Man, that does a lot of damage. But yeah, I'm a big fan of this pack ever since getting it. These are the main, well, these are some of the main weapons I use. The recoil is quite easy to control on most of them as well. Saying that, I play COD anyway, so I'm quite used to controlling recoil, things like that, which is probably why it's not too much of a struggle. So yeah, that's the Black Ops 1 weapons pack. Now moving on to the next add-on. Coming at number 9 is the FAS2 weapons. Now I've always had this weapon pack. The only thing is, obviously, when you install them from the workshop, you have to install them all from separate packs. I think it's assault rifles, SMGs, I think pistols, snipers, and then I think like small arms. Not pistol, I think small arms like melee, first aid kit, grenade, and the pistols, I think, and the knife. Yeah, the recoil on them aren't exactly the easiest, but again, it's not too hard to control either. There's many different weapons in this pack, which is what I like most about it. The only thing is the ammo is completely separate to normal in-game ammo. You have to get it from here in entities. It'll be under FAS 2.0 ammo. Then it'll just be normal ammo. Hold E. There we go. Although the animations for them are quite nice, and the snipers you have to bolt yourself, which is quite cool. Shotguns. You also have to there we go. Here's them shooting NPCs. Now they're not that strong, some of the weapons. The snipers are probably the strongest weapons in the pack. The assault rifles and the tactical rifles aren't exactly the strongest things, which is a bit of a shame. So yeah, that is the FAS 2.0 weapons pack. Now, I would say the animations are probably some of the most advanced animations from most gun packs in on the workshop. But the control and the damage for the weapons aren't exactly the best. So that's a downside, as you can tell. The damage is not good at all. Now, there are actually attachments, but you have to spawn them from entities under FAS 2.0 attachments. So, what does this need? It needs that. So do that and press 1. Yeah, so damage, not that great, but the animations are actually very good. So yeah, moving on to add-on number 8. So add-on number 8 is the CW 2.0 weapons pack. Now this is similar to the FAS 2 weapons pack, but this is customizable weapons. So you don't actually need to spawn the attachments for this one, which is good. You can just spawn the weapon and then use the attachment straight off the bat, which I quite like. So guns are fairly easy to control, and the damage isn't actually that bad on most of them. Let's spawn a citizen. A one shot to the head, just like that. So yeah, the damage is quite good. The attachments are fairly, well, the type of attachments you'd expect on a gun like this. It also has sniper. I think this is the only sniper that comes in the normal default pack, I'm pretty sure. Got SMGs. Shotgun. But unlike the FAS weapons, you don't actually bolt the guns or pump them yourself. Have a assault rifle here, some attachments on it. Oh, that I do not like that. What is that? There we go. Leave it like that. So let's test the recoil. Fairly simple. So yeah. So that's the customizable weapons pack. Now let's move on to add-on number 7. Now add-on number 7 is the long revolver mini pack. Now these are just some joke weapons. These are mainly for admin use, as you can tell. Extremely broken, and if you have a sandbox server or dark RP, if you do have these, never let anyone use them, because they're, as you can see, they're ridiculously OP, and you never have to reload. It's infinite ammo. There is a non-admin version, which is just a single shot, which I'm pretty sure does almost nowhere near as much as what the admin version does. It still is quite strong, but if you get this, yeah, it's not even matched. Let's get a Batmobile. Yeah. So the reason why this is quite low is because this is probably my favourite admin, one of my favourite admin weapons, and the fact that it's just a mini pack is quite funny. As you can see as well, when you shoot it has a lot of performance issues, but I think that's just because I have an add-on which changes the effects of when you shoot services. So yeah, that's the long revolver pack, and I'll give a few more examples of things getting absolutely destroyed. As you can see, it's ridiculous. And again, I suggest you don't let anyone use this if you have them on your server. So yeah, that's the long revolver pack. onto number 6. Now, number 6 is the S cars, which you saw a little bit a second ago. Now, I think it was obvious that this was going to be quite low on the list. Now, I only did number 6 because, well, obviously there's quite a few add-ons now that have sort of outdated this, and there's a few better add-ons now. It's still probably one of the best car add-ons. Fully destructible cars, fully modelled, full sound effects, everything. And if you hold shift, you get a little speed boost. You've got Batmobile version of some of the cars, which are ridiculously fast. As you can see, the cars have quite funny physics. Very nice sound effects as well. And obviously, as you can see in the bottom right, speedometers. You can see the gears. Now, there is a manual that you can actually change the gears to manual, so that you can do them yourself. But it can be quite difficult in certain cars, especially high-speed vehicles. And if you look below the main speedometer arrow, you will see a white and green bar. That is the petrol or gasoline, whatever you want to call it. That will run out. It runs out a lot quicker if you use a speed boost. As you can see, I've just held the speed boost. It went down a little bit there. There's also police cars, which have some very bright lights, and also obviously, as you can hear, sirens. I'm pretty sure these are the sirens out of GTA 4. I'm pretty sure. There's police sirens, that sound effect. I'm pretty sure it's like GTA 4. These cars are fairly quick. There's a few different variations. So there's a police Impala, a Lamborghini Diablo, a Porsche 911, and a Lamborghini Murcielago. I'm pretty sure this is the fastest one in the pack when it doesn't get stuck on the floor. There we go. As you can see, I think as well all the police cars have the same siren. And I have no idea why, but for some reason they also did a DeLorean, which if you press B, if you go fast enough, you can do that, which is quite cool. Now, other players won't be able to see you like this, but they can see your shadow on the floor until you come back out like that. And if you're stationary and you press B, you can fly, and if you hold left click, you'll go up, right click will descend. Now, this also has the same as the other cars, so it can run out of petrol, everything like that. And if you go into entities, you will find S car, and it will be a gas station. So if you place that down, I mean, I'm doing it on a roof, so it's not exactly the best place. You can actually take the petrol pump. I think you have to press E. Oh no, you just right click with the. As you can hear, when you bring it near the car, it has like a sound effect, like a liquid sound effect. That will let you know that it's filling the car up. And apparently you died to the petrol pump. Right, as I was saying, the sound effect will tell you whether or not the car is being filled up. Now, it will only take a few drops from the petrol pump to actually fill the car completely up, depending on what car you're using. I'm pretty sure different cars have different amounts of, have different size gas tanks. So, and again, the cars are fully destructible. We use the golden revolver again. Oh wow, that's actually not blowing up. Okay, that's odd. Right. There you go. So yeah, fully destructible. Has a lot of so this is S car bikes. So this is S bikes. This is a completely separate add-on to S cars, along with the Batmobiles and these as well. And this. It's just a mini, like, little muscle sports car thing. I found this on the workshop a few days ago. It's actually quite a nice, enjoyable, but very good handling. And the cars also have first person mode, which is quite nice. And fully functioning headlights, everything like that. And horns. And for some reason, when you press B, or is it G? Hold on. When you press G, when you're still, it makes your car jump. I think that's if you're upside down. I think if you're in the car, you press G, it'll flip your car back over. But for some reason, if you're the right way up and you press G, it just makes your car jump, which is a bit odd. But yeah, probably one of the best car add-ons. Now moving on to add-on number 5. 5 is the LFS planes. Now I've only got a few vehicles at the minute, but we've got got a couple of World War II planes. Got Spitfire, and this is a BF-109. Now you have to aim your crosshair circle at the cross. It helps if your plane doesn't get stuck on a curb. That's what I'm saying. So you aim your crosshair at the cross in the centre. So planes will have it in different positions, and then you hold W and it will put your power up. Press spacebar, put your wheels in, and you have to use your mouse to fly. You can also use D and A to barrel roll. If you hold shift, it makes you do a flip, but obviously some planes are harder than others because obviously sometimes there's a risk of stalling. As you can see, I did it there. And some planes will have weapons. Left click for a fast machine gun, right click for much aggressive, but I would assume that's why it's slower, because it's more aggressive. And obviously hold S to slow down, spacebar to bring your wheels out, and you can quite easily land. Now there are different packs for LFS. There's Star Wars pack, which is the only one I have right now. But these Star Wars planes are very in-depth, got all the sound effects from the films. If you press spacebar, you can enable weapons mode. It's probably my favourite planes pack for LFS, is the Star Wars planes. There we go. And you got M1 Starfighter with R2-D2 on the back. See all the sound effects. And the Star Wars ones are obviously very quick, a lot quicker than the normal planes. Which I do like how they're quite quick. We'll see you got a helicopter, two helicopters in the base pack. So if you do want to fly a helicopter, this is the Combine helicopter, which I found quite odd that they put this as one of the flyable things, but it's quite cool. The helicopters are obviously a bit more difficult to get used to compared to the planes. As you can tell, I'm not very good with the helicopters. But, oh god, oh. Got a Rebel helicopter. You've got a Cessna. So yeah, this is the LFS plane pack. I do recommend you check it out if you like planes, or if you just want to try out some flying in Garry's mod. It's quite simple to fly as well. It's pretty self-explanatory to teach yourself. Now I do obviously recommend quite a large map, hence why I'm on Big C. So yeah, make sure to check this out. And moving on to add-on number 4. Add-on number 4 is Gbombs. Now, I wasn't sure whether to put this as number 3 or number 4, but I decided I put it a little bit higher up because obviously it's just nukes and bombs. So you obviously spawn a nuke or a bomb, press E and it will arm it. All you need to do is either shoot it or drop it off a large building, for example, or you could just use your fizz gun and throw it at something. So I'm going to do it in the distance just so that we can see it, but also not die at the same time. So I'll launch over there. And as you can see, some very nice sound effects and some good looking explosions. Now let's get to Now I've moved to the top of the building so that I can use a much bigger bomb. This is an actual nuke. Before that was just a Davy Crockett. That was just a smaller bomb. So let's use this. Launch it over towards the sewer building, and this will be a much bigger explosion. Ooh, as you can see. Now the cool thing is there's obviously the explosion, there's the smoke. You have like a shockwave. The sound will follow the shockwave. So if you're on the other side of the map, you won't hear it straight away. You have to wait till the shockwave hits you, and it will create a mushroom cloud. But if you get closer, you will notice that you start taking radiation damage, which I really like how it has like a fallout effect. You just take radiation damage. Now I think the radiation lasts about 30 seconds to a minute. I think it depends on how large the nuke is. So obviously you have different types of bombs. You have a cluster nuke, which is a admin. This is the strongest thing in the game. What it does is it takes the normal SAR bomb, it blows up as a SAR bomb, and then it spawns every other nuke in the add-on around it and blows up every single nuke at the same time. So you have to have quite a beast PC in order to survive this, because it can make your game crash quite quickly if you don't have like quite a beast PC. And it also, I'm pretty sure, it increases the radius of the normal SAR bomb, and it goes across the entire map that you're on. So here's a couple of nukes. Here's a couple of examples of nukes in the add-on. As you can see, that was a much bigger explosion than the first nuke, Davy Crockett. And obviously it will have different sound effects depending on the size and obviously just the nuke in general. As you saw there, that was a shockwave that you just saw. Got a slow nuke. There you can hear the shockwave. If you are closer, when you hear that shockwave, you will also either get launched back or you will take damage. This is the only, for some reason, this is the only nuke in the add-on that actually launches, which I was a bit disappointed with. I wish there was more nukes that actually launch. So if we click E, as well as activating, it will start launching. And apparently kill you because you're too close. But yeah, it has a lovely after effect. I think the after effect lasts for about 10-20 seconds. Again, depending on the size of the nuke, could be longer. So yeah, that was Gbombs. Many different types of nukes that you could play around with, or just kill everyone in the server with, if you're playing on a server. If not, it's fun to just mess around with in single player. Spawn a few NPCs, see which NPCs are able to survive, and yeah. So moving on to add-on number 3. Moving on to add-on number 3. Add-on number 3 is the M9K weapons packs. Now, I had a choice. I was going to either choose M9K weapons pack or the Black Mesa, but I decided because M9K is more of an iconic Garry's Mod add-on, I decided to choose that instead. So here we have a couple of examples of weapons. I'm going to spawn a few NPCs and obviously show you the damage difference between certain guns. So this is, I believe this is an F2000. Yes, it is. Now the recoil on these guns are fairly reasonable. They're not too hard to control. The damage on the guns are quite different from each other. So if we get an AS Val, even though it doesn't have any recoil, the gun shoots up and covers the screen, so it's a lot harder to aim. I have an AK that has pretty much no recoil at all. That's just a straight up beam. We have a burst M16. There we go. Then we have, this is a machine guns pack, so this is LMGs and a minigun and also a bar. I'm not sure why the bar's in machine guns. I would assume bar would fit in either assault rifles or sniper rifles. I mean, personally, I would add the bar into assault rifles, but... So here is a M249. Pretty much an instant kill. And we got minigun, which destroys almost everything in its path. We got the bar. Killed G-Man pretty quick. And last gun I'll show is the PKM. So yeah, I really like M9K. That's probably the most, as I said, the most iconic Garry's Mod add-on in terms of weapons. SMGs are quite good. This is another thing, I'm not sure why the Honey Badger is in SMGs. That should be in assault rifles, but I suppose that's how they wanted to do it, so. And then you have specialties. This is the kind of like the explosions, the explosive tab, and like the melee. So you have a sword, which does a fair bit of damage. You have a grenade launcher, which, if you hit directly, it takes a while to explode, but if you just hit the floor, it'll explode immediately. But it does more damage if you hit it directly. So as you saw there, I've shot 2 explosions at his feet and it didn't do anything, but for him directly, it will kill him instantly, and then explode afterwards. Then it includes fists, here, which they don't really do a lot of damage, but they're fairly decent. Got frag grenades. There we go. A harpoon, but at the same time, as you saw, it does quite a bit of damage, considering. Got a phone, which if you left click, it will launch out a box, and right click, it will explode. I've used this to troll people many times. I've launched the box, given it to them, and they expect it to just be a normal box, and then I obviously explode, and then they realise the mistake they made. Then we've got one of the rocket launchers. So yeah, that'll be the last weapon I'll show. Actually, I'll show you. This also has a Davy Crockett, which, if I launch, is a nuke, which is an extremely strong nuke. Does a lot of damage if you're close to it, like that. Got a bit too close there. So yeah, this is, again, probably the most iconic weapons pack. And if you're going to get any weapons pack, I would say this. Because not only are the guns strong, but the animations are good, and there's so much weapon choice. We've got sniper rifles. Very good sound effects. So yeah. That was the M9K weapons pack. I strongly recommend you try it out. And moving on to add-on number 2. Now, for add-on number 2, it was a very difficult decision. I wasn't able to decide between add-on number 2 and add-on number 1. They were probably the hardest things to decide for the whole list, but I decided for add-on number 2, I thought it was only right that I included this in the list, because it's probably the most mind-blowing add-on in Garry's Mod. Is the TARDIS. Now, the reason why I say it's mind-blowing is the amount of features and the amount of time that's put into this add-on. Now, obviously, I'm going to also include the sonic screwdrivers as part of this add-on. Now, obviously, as you see, it is indeed bigger on the inside, which I find amazing how they did that. And if we go in, got all the sound effects from the show. It's almost an identical replica of Matt Smith's second TARDIS. Now, if we go to the list, we have every single TARDIS that's ever appeared in the show. I think there's one I'm missing, which is the Master's TARDIS. But apart from that, it's got every single one from the show. They did have Jodie Whittaker's, but I think they removed it. I think the add-on had like an issue or something, and then they had to remove it. So, but yeah, so it has all the controls. You can see them labelled. So, do cloaking device, then go outside. TARDIS is indeed cloaked. So let's turn that off. We have power switch. Obviously turns off the power. Self-repair, which if the TARDIS is damaged, if you self-repair and go up the TARDIS, I think it takes like a minute to repair itself if it's fully damaged. You have isomorphic security system and HADS. So if the TARDIS gets damaged, then it will, to protect itself, it will fly to the vortex to keep itself safe. You've got the time rotor handbrake, which if you try to dematerialize, it will stop itself. So turn that off. Got the door lock, which is obvious, obviously locks the door. And we've got the door switch, which opens the door. Got music, any music from the show, which I'm obviously not going to do due to copyright, but you can obviously do it if you want. Then you've got vortex flight, which basically, when you dematerialize, rather than it flying into the vortex, it will just automatically land to wherever you've set your position to. So you can turn that on. Engine release, which, if I'm honest, I'm not entirely sure what this does. I've used it many times and I haven't really seen it affect anything at all. Got screen UI, which basically adds virtual console, so you can control the TARDIS on here. Coordinates, which you can do here anyway. Manual destination, so if you fly to where you want to go, then click left click, that's where you'll then land. So if we dematerialize, see the time rotors move at the top, like in Matt Smith series, and obviously you had the sound effects when you did that. Got the sound effects. Now, the really cool part, there is a time vortex pack which you can download, and if you download it, when you're in the time vortex door, you will see time vortex, and this applies to every Doctor. So if you use David Tennant's TARDIS, you would see his time vortex out the door. So let's close the doors, and then dematerialize, and then materialize, and we should materialize it to the location we set on the coordinates, which we have, very roughly. You also have redecoration, you have spin direction, which changes obviously which way the TARDIS spins. You've got fast return, so that will, similar to the vortex, that will return to the last place you dematerialized from without going into the vortex. So if we go outside, as you can see, we're here. The sonic screwdriver, you can actually link up to the TARDIS by holding Alt and left click. And if you right click, if you hold right click on the TARDIS, it will lock the doors. Right click again, it will unlock. Hold left click, it will open the doors. If you hold left click on a random position, it will set the destination, and then you click R, the TARDIS will then fly into the vortex. Then you'll click R again and it will go to the position that you've set. So once it dematerializes, click R again. You can now hear it coming back. And another cool feature about this mod, which I think is fairly new, if you stay in the TARDIS while it's materializing, you'll see the screen go all white. And you will go into the TARDIS, which I find really cool. Now, let's show the self-repair system. It will lock itself, and if you press E, it will tell you how long is left until it's repaired. It'll make a noise, and now it's done. Now, let's do redecoration. Go outside. TARDIS will then lock itself like it does with self-repair, then it will start dematerializing, and the TARDIS that it's going to turn into will then start materializing as that one dematerializes. Now, this is a very weird rewrite that I have. Of course it turns into a weird one. If you go in, obviously different TARDIS. So yeah. Now there are many different types. Obviously you've got David Tennant's one, which is one of my favourite ones. Obviously got the exterior. Go in, have all the controls, manual flight control. Press R and hold W. Obviously you can fly, hold shift, it will give you a boost, space go up, control to go down, or you can just aim and press W. If you left click, you will dematerialize and go to where you aimed at when you left clicked. Right click, so spin direction L, cloak. G will actually lock you in place, and it will actually turn off like the TARDIS's like gravity, so it doesn't get affected. So if we, for example, go to the side of the building and then press G, when we materialize back onto the building, there we go, vortex, little showcase. If we then materialize onto the building after pressing G, we will literally be on the side of the building. So if we go, quickly turn off the flight mode, go out here. Now obviously got all the normal controls. It is accurate to the show. Door switch. Got the so yeah, it's probably my favourite. Not gonna lie, this is probably the best mod, the best add-on in Garry's mod. I was gonna put this number 1, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought number 1's probably better in terms of the abilities it has. Okay, so talking about number 1, let's move on to number 1. Okay, finally, number 1 is the Infinity Gauntlet. Again, this was very hard between the TARDIS and the Infinity Gauntlet, but I thought because of the amount of abilities the Infinity Gauntlet has, it probably should be number 1. So, if we hold right click, we can select the ability of the stone you've chosen. By choosing the stone, hold R. You have the Space Stone, Power Stone, Time Stone, Mind Stone, Soul Stone, Reality Stone, and Infinity is all the abilities all the stones do together. So you have Snap, Infinity Beam, Direct Gravity, Timeline Erase, Universal Law, which I'm not quite sure what Universal Law does. I've never really understood it, but obviously Snap will snap half the life. So if we do 4 people, me, them 3, if we snap, 2 should disappear, and yeah, there's 2 people left. Obviously you've got a 3D model of the Infinity Gauntlet on your character. Go to timeline. If you do timeline erase on another player, it will kick them out of the server and they will have to join back, which I found quite funny first time I did that. We got time stone, stop time, so if we just get a dinosaur chasing us, stop time. Dinosaur will be frozen and obviously can't move. Unfreeze, reverse time. So it'll reverse it back to where it is. It's not perfect, but then slow time. Now that will slow time around you, but it won't actually slow down time for you. Then you've got speed time. Right, and then we've got place time anchor. Now what that will do is it will return you to the position that you saved the time at. So as you can see, it will. So if we get loads of these, so then we kill them all. So let's go power stone. Showcase that. We'll do punch. That will then explode all of those NPCs. And then we go back to time, do return to time anchor. Then it's from earlier, when the dinosaur was there. And all those NPCs are gone. Go to space, you can freeze NPC or an object. Obviously you can't move. Do launch, basically fly, essentially, is what that is. Got teleport, it will take you to a position. It's cool because when you do it, it turns you into dust and it will teleport you, which I find really cool. Because if you're near another player, if you just do that, then it will just look like you've just, well, teleported. But yeah, singularity will create a black hole. The longer you hold left click for the bigger the black hole is. If you get an object, it will get sucked towards the black hole. And obviously the black hole will obviously suck things up. If you do normalize space-time, you can get rid of the black hole. Summon meteorites. Obviously do what it says, summon meteorites. Wormholes. Now this is quite cool. If you do random wormhole, it will create a wormhole. And it will take you to a random position on the map. If you do waypoint, so let's put a waypoint here. Do waypoint wormhole. That will then take us to the waypoint. When we do create a wormhole to target location, that will take a wormhole to wherever you've pointed, which is closest to the floor. Got Mind Stone, can affect the NPC's mind. So if we take 2 combines here, 2 combines, you can mind slave one and it will fight for you. They'll fight each other. Do fear, cause a creature to fear you, it will make the creature run away, as you can see. Confuse, which will make them fight their own teammates. So if you do a friendly and confuse, they will then fight you and work with the enemy. Forgetfulness, if a combine is, say, shooting you, confuse them, then they'll start getting confused and will stop shooting you. Barrier will create a barrier around you which nothing can get through. Even if there's a nuke, you can still survive the nuke if you have a barrier around you. Sleep, it's obvious, cause the person's asleep. Wake up. Phase is basically no clip, essentially, but like a faster no clip, as you can see, and lets you phase through walls. Got Mind Annihilation, basically kills the PC. Soulstone, Conceal, which is essentially you can see through walls. So put a combine there, go to the other side of this wall, see them through the wall. Go to Revive. Oh, it won't work on that because I killed his mind. Never mind. Let's do this guy. Go to the Infinity Gauntlet. Revive. There you go. Soul Medic will create like a little orb that will heal you if you're damaged. Soul Sentry, which will attack things around it. So put on there. Is he in the floor? That's a bit weird. Soul Bond. Soul Bond will make you share damage, so if someone shoots you and you soul bond them, they'll take half the damage that they do to you. Soul Missile is a basically missile that you can control. Reality Stone. Reality Stone is a bunch of different options. So you've got water walking. So it should let you, yeah, you can walk on the sewer. Got invisibility, which let's showcase here. Combines, visible. Then you got disarm, which will turn the enemy's weapon into bubbles, which is what he does to Star-Lord in, I think it's Infinity War, when he's trying to shoot Gamora. Got heal, which will, if you hold shift, you can actually heal yourself. Body copy, which doesn't do anything apparently. Wipe will turn him into dust. It's kind of like a snap, but you can do it to individuals. You got transform. So it transforms the person into an inanimate object. Gravity, see, will lower the gravity for things, as you can see. Got bubble bullets. Got bubble bullets, so obviously bullets will turn into bubbles. So then you got illusion, which will create a copy of you. You can place it on any surface and it will stay there for about 30 seconds. Pocket dimension, hold shift. Pocket dimension, if you do it on someone, they will then go into the pocket dimension. You can then destroy the pocket dimension and then they'll die. Warp composition, which will turn a person into a random material, or as you saw back there, we'll turn them into fire. You've got manipulate body, will change their bones, as you can see, definitely not normal. Got shrink, which will see shrink the person. And you've got reset size. There you go, disarm. Animate, which will, if you do it, say this, that will then become an object and will attack everything in its path, no matter if they're good or bad. So if we spawn Father Gregory, that will then try to attack him, as you can see. Whoa. Okay, so yeah, that's the Infinity Gauntlet. Definitely check this out. It's probably the most overpowered, one of the most overpowered things, because if you have this and you use it correctly, you're basically invincible, essentially. So definitely one of the best add-ons. So yeah, that's been my top 10 add-ons for Garry's mod. Thank you all for watching. If you want another one of these videos for, say, maps or NPCs, make sure to let me know and I will do one. Because I definitely would enjoy doing any maps or NPCs or vehicles, something like that. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed, make sure to comment, like and subscribe, and I will make sure to respond to any suggestions that you make. So make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.